Hello and welcome to my channel again. I just want to do a quick video to help you with your science revision, and this one is on variables. Remember, my focus and my interest as countdown towards the exam is to ensure I cover the areas that you can easily remember. Because it's easy to remember, it's also the area that lots of young people forget or they have forgotten, and these questions always find a way to crop up on the paper. So specifically, I'm looking at variables. So you'll be asked to identify the difference, or you'll be asked to identify the dependent, independent, or control variables in an experiment. So it could be it's a part of your question, or like the one I have here. This is from a sample AQA sample paper where they have given you an experiment and they've then asked you to identify the different types of variables. So the dependent variable, to put it very simply, the dependent variable is the outcome. The outcome, the one you measure. All right? So you don't have a control over that. You don't know what the outcome is going to be. For instance, if you're trying to work out the effect of fertilizers on plant growth, for example, you can decide to measure certain amount of fertilizers, say 4 grams of fertilizers, or 0.4 grams. You can decide the quantity of fertilizer that you want to apply to the plant, but you cannot tell specifically how long it will grow. You cannot tell the particular increase in growth that you're going to find or that's going to happen to the plant. So the outcome that you measure is your dependent variable. And then, I just talked about fertilizers and plant growth. So the actual plant growth is your dependent variable. The independent variable, is the one that you are measuring out, if you know what I mean. The one that you can decide the quantity, the amount. The one you can decide the quantity, the type, the amount that you're going to apply. You make a choice, you choose that. So you can decide you're going to do 2 grams of fertilizer. You're going to apply 2 grams of fertilizer to one plant, or you can decide to use 4 grams. This is your decision. This is your choice. The way I normally explain it to students, I just say, in the UK, children are called dependent. They're called dependent on their parents. So I usually would just say, give a very funny explanation. Funny because of the way some students respond. I will say, oh, if your dad earns £3,000 a month and he gives you £10,000, 10 pounds every month. If he suddenly won the lottery, or he had a windfall or something, and he then had £1,000,000, you can be assured that he would then give you, say, £1,000. It's funny because you will always find a student that will go, no, you don't know my dad, it's not going to change. But we all get the story. I just use that to say that if that changes, then the outcome can also change. So the amount of pocket money you get can be changed or altered, increased or decreased, depending on how much your parents get. So you are the one who's dependent on your parent. That is your outcome. This is the one you decide to put certain amount or the type that you're going to use. Then the constant variable, that one is very easy. The constant variable is everything else that you keep constant, so that it does not affect your outcome. Say, for instance, if we're still talking about the fertilizer and plant growth, for instance, you can decide you're going to measure. You decide the quantity you're going to measure. If you're using different quantities, that you will change that will not be your constant. But if you're using the same quantity, then maybe you're using different types of fertilizers. In that case, you have to make sure you carefully measure out the same amount from each of the fertilizer types. In that way, the amount that you're measuring will be your constant variable. And then how long you keep it for time, and the weather condition, where you put them, where you put your different plants. So those are all the conditions that you maintain to ensure that they do not affect the outcome. So that only one variable, the one that you're working on, that is the one that actually affects the result that you get. So this is how to, in very simple way, how variables can be identified in exam. And I don't think you'll be asked to give the definition, but if you're asked to give the definition, you can explain it the way I've explained it, but you can easily use my explanation to identify the dependent, the independent, and the constant variable. And the control, lastly, the control is the one that you don't put anything. So your control experiment is the one you don't put the treatment. You want to find out if that treatment is actually what is giving you the outcome that you get. I hope this has been helpful, and whatever you do, don't stop revising, keep keeping positive. Thank you for watching, and God bless.